brain theory.
You don't rewatch that show because it's good. You rewatch it because you're broken. And somewhere deep inside, you know that's true. You're not pressing play on a series. You're pressing pause on reality. You're choosing safety over surprise, familiar pain over new chaos. You say you're just relaxing, but really, you're coping. You're not obsessed with the characters. You're obsessed with certainty. Because everything else in your life feels like it's falling apart. You already know the ending. You've memorized the jokes. You quote the lines in your sleep. And still, you go back. Why? Because in a world that changes without asking, you are addicted to the one story that never does. Let's talk about why your brain needs that show more than you're willing to admit. Let's talk about the truth you've been skipping like the intro screen. 1. Control in chaos. You live in a storm. You smile through it. You work through it. But inside, you're holding onto a life that moves too fast, too sharp, too loud. You don't know what tomorrow brings. You can't control who stays. You can't guarantee success or peace or love. But you can control one thing: what you watch. You go back to the show where the rules never change. The plot doesn't betray you. The tension is scripted. The heartbreak is scheduled. And that gives you power. Because life gives you trauma without warning. But this story, you see it coming. You survive it every time. Control is a drug. And that show, that's your cleanest hit. You don't rewatch because you forgot the ending. You rewatch because you need to remember it. 2. Emotional regulation. When fiction feels safer than reality. Let's stop pretending. You're not watching it just to chill. You're not just killing time. You're managing pain. You're regulating emotion. You're breathing through anxiety. That show is your therapist when therapy is too expensive. Your friend when no one picks up. Your silence when your brain screams too loud. Your body tenses less when the theme song plays. Your heart rate slows. Your cortisol drops. Your brain rewards you with dopamine for predicting every line. Because it craves predictability like a starving animal craves food. You're not lazy, you're surviving. Every time you choose that same old episode, what you're really choosing is peace, control, familiarity. And isn't that what we all want? 3. Nostalgia is a time machine with no seatbelt. Some people say nostalgia is weakness, that rewatching old shows is a way of hiding. They're wrong. Nostalgia isn't escape, it's memory medicine. It's the smell of your childhood room in digital form, the echo of someone's laughter who isn't here anymore, the sound of your own heartbeat before the world cracked it open. You watched that show when life made sense, or at least when it hurt less. And now, every rewatch is a resurrection of who you were, of who you wish you could still be. You're not stuck in the past. You're communing with it, holding its hand, asking it to hold yours back. Because deep down, you know that sometimes the only way to move forward is to remember who you were before it all went wrong. 4. Predictability is the new intimacy. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time someone in your life was consistent? Really think about that. How often do people mean what they say? How often do they stay? How often do things turn out the way you hoped? Probably not often. And so, predictability becomes sacred. That show never forgets you, never lets you down, never leaves mid-season. It's there, always, on demand. No surprises, no sharp turns. And in a world of ghosting, gaslighting, and goodbyes, that kind of consistency feels like love. Yes, you know the ending. That's the point. It's a promise. This story won't hurt you in a new way today. 5. The illusion of progress. Here's the irony. You watch that show on loop, but you tell yourself you're moving forward. You fold laundry, You answer emails, you exist. But deep down, you know you're stuck. You're stuck in a loop that looks like motion but feels like silence. It's not that you don't want new stories. It's that new stories ask too much. They ask you to invest, to care, to risk disappointment. But the old ones, they ask nothing. They know you. They owe you. Rewatching is a quiet rebellion against emotional exhaustion. You're tired of trying, tired of trusting, tired of pretending you're okay. So you go back to the one thing that never makes you feel like a failure. Because in that world, you're not behind, you're just watching. And maybe that's the hardest truth of all. You don't rewatch because you're healing. You rewatch because healing hurts more than staying the same. 6. You're not alone, even if you watch alone. You think this makes you weird, don't you? You think something's wrong with you for watching the same thing 10, 20, 50 times? You think it's embarrassing, a waste. But let me tell you something, you are not alone. Millions of people do this, quietly, repeatedly, desperately, because life is brutal. And stories, the right stories, they give us shelter. There's a reason why trauma survivors, anxious minds, grieving hearts all return to the same shows. It's not addiction, it's survival. It's emotional CPR. The characters become your family. The arcs become your map. The ending becomes your proof that something, somewhere, stays the same. You keep watching because the story accepts you exactly as you are, even when the real world doesn't. You feel seen, even when you're hiding. And no one, not even the most enlightened psychologist or the coldest critic, can take that away from you. 7. The story behind the story. So what now? Do you stop rewatching? Do you force yourself to move on? That's not the point. This isn't a video to shame you. It's a mirror, a moment, a breath. You rewatch the same show because something in your life feels unwritten. Because you're still looking for the safety you never had. Because repetition, while it may not be growth, is still a kind of comfort. And comfort is not a sin. But maybe it's time to ask what story you are afraid to write. What chapter have you been postponing? What risk have you been avoiding? What pain have you tried to silence by turning up the volume on that old laugh track? Maybe it's time to remember that you don't just rewatch stories. You live one. And it's not finished yet. You are still the main character, still in the middle of your arc, still holding the pen. So the next time you hit play, ask yourself, am I escaping, or am I remembering who I was before the world changed me? And when the episode ends, and the screen fades to black, listen to the silence. There might be something waiting for you there. Something scary, something new, something real. If this spoke to you, I want you to comment below. This story still has time. Because it does, and so do you. Thanks for watching and see you in the next Brain Theory video.